You're lying in bed. Your breathing slows. The day finally lets go of you and you start to drift, that warm, heavy feeling right before sleep takes over. And then, out of nowhere, your whole body jerks. Maybe it's your leg kicking out. Maybe it's the sudden, terrifying feeling that you're falling and you snap awake with your heart pounding, gripping the mattress that was never going anywhere. If that sounds familiar, you're not broken and you're not alone. Somewhere between 60 and 70% of people experience this regularly. It has a name, the hypnic jerk, sometimes called a sleep start. And despite how common it is, despite the fact that it has probably happened to you hundreds of times, scientists still cannot fully agree on why it happens at all. So tonight, let's figure out what's really going on in those strange few seconds when your body betrays you on the edge of sleep. First, the basics. A hypnic jerk is a type of movement called myoclonus, a brief, involuntary contraction of a muscle or group of muscles. You actually experience myoclonus all the time. Hiccups are myoclonus. That little twitch your hand sometimes makes for no reason is myoclonus. The hypnic jerk is simply a larger, more dramatic version that strikes at one very specific moment, the transition from being awake to being asleep. And that transition is far more chaotic than it feels from the inside. When you're awake, your brain keeps a tight grip on your muscles. There's a constant low hum of signals keeping your body ready to move. But as you fall asleep, your brain begins to power that system down, your muscles go slack, your heart rate drops. The systems that kept you alert start handing control over to the parts of the brain that run sleep. It's a handover, and like any handover, things can go wrong in the gap. One leading idea is that the hypnic jerk is essentially a glitch in that handover. As the brain transitions, the network responsible for keeping you awake and the network responsible for putting you to sleep are briefly active at the same time. For a fraction of a second, neither one is fully in charge, and in that gap, a burst of leftover electrical activity can escape down through the motor system and reach your muscles, producing that sudden, uncontrolled jerk. But that explanation raises a stranger question. Why does the jerk so often come with that vivid, gut-wrenching feeling of falling? This is where it gets fascinating. Many people don't just twitch, they experience a full sensory illusion, a flash of imagery, a sense of stepping off a curb that isn't there or missing a stair or simply dropping through empty space. And here, researchers believe something revealing is happening. As your muscles suddenly go limp at the onset of sleep, your brain may misinterpret that loss of muscle tension as a real signal, as if the body is actually going limp because it's falling. So the brain does what brains are built to do. It reacts. It sends an emergency jolt to tense your muscles and catch you. The dream of falling, in this view, isn't the cause of the jerk. It's a story your brain invents after the fact, trying to explain a sensation it doesn't understand. Think about that for a moment. In the space of half a second, your mind detects a threat that isn't real, fires a rescue command to a body that was perfectly safe, and then writes a tiny fictional scene to make sense of the whole thing, all before you're even fully aware it happened. And that leads us to the most intriguing hypothesis of all. Some scientists have proposed that this reflex is ancient, that it's a leftover from our distant primate ancestors who slept in trees. For an animal sleeping on a branch, relaxing too quickly could mean losing your grip and falling, a genuinely fatal mistake. So the theory suggests that a built-in jolt, triggered by the sensation of suddenly going slack, could have been a survival mechanism. A reflex that snapped a dozing ancestor back to alertness before they slipped from their perch. It's a beautiful idea, that every time you twitch yourself awake, you might be running a program written millions of years ago, in bodies that no longer exist, for a danger you'll never face. But it's important to be honest here. This evolutionary explanation remains a hypothesis. It's difficult to test, and not all researchers accept it. The truth is that the hypnic jerk sits in that humbling space where something can happen to nearly every human on Earth every single night, and still not be fully understood. What scientists do understand reasonably well is what makes these jerks more frequent, and the list is probably familiar. Caffeine, especially late in the day, increases them. So does intense physical exercise close to bedtime when your nervous system is still revved up and struggling to shift into rest. Stress and anxiety play a major role. A busy, overstimulated mind seems to make the transition into SL